Hey there, welcome to the LegalSoft podcast. My name is Cameron Hastings. I am here with Elizabeth Hovanesian. She's our LegalSoft demand writer extraordinaire. She runs the demand writing department. But before she graced us with her presence, she was working as a paralegal in a personal injury firm. So we're going to dive into that, what it's like being in law school while working at LegalSoft, the different obstacles and road bumps that come with being working full-time and being a law student. All right, Elizabeth, welcome.
Thank you.
For Liz, though, right?
Yeah, Liz is fine.
Liz is fine. Okay, perfect. So thank you so much for joining us. Can you expand a little bit about more of what you do at LegalSoft?
Yeah, so we basically, attorneys that do PI, workers' comp and employment, outsource their demands to us. And then I lead a group of demand writers that go ahead and write their demands and help the firms out in that sense.
Gotcha.
That's the main thing that we do.
That's the main thing. That's good. How many demands would you say you go through in a week?
Ooh, that's actually a very good question. It varies, honestly, because sometimes we have firms that give us literally 80 demands at once, sometimes even 100, but then there's some that will do, let's say, 20 or 10 here and there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it varies.
What's your turnaround team for your team for demands?
So 72 hours is our turnaround time.
72 hours. They'll give you 100 at once and you get 100 done in 72 hours.
That's the goal. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Using AI makes life a whole lot better for sure.
Oh, absolutely. You guys use what, GPT-4?
Yeah, we use GPT-4 and then some other AI tools, and then we have our own AI tools and softwares that we've developed.
Right. Well, you have to have what is it called? An avatar, like a AI that's specifically meant for demand writing. And I heard LegalSoft, we're coming out with something that's a program that lawyers can use. Can we talk about that? Is that
coming soon, 2025?
Okay. It's hush hush right now, but believe me, it sounds awesome. It sounds like it's going to be great. I wanted to dive in. I had a couple questions here that I want to chat with you about. First of all, a lot of people, they'll watch Suits or Better Call Saul. They're like, I want to be a lawyer. That sounds awesome, right? Or Daredevil, the best lawyer. What made you want to be a lawyer?
So mine's a very similar situation.
Is it really?
Yeah. So for me, it was more watching actually Judge Judy and Judge Marilyn Munoz.
Oh, can you read
The People's Court?
It was watching the People's Court?
Yeah, Judge Judy, Judge Marilyn Munoz.
They're just mediators, though.
Yeah, but I don't know what it was. It was just watching them was like, okay, these people are showing up to court. They're saying what their problem is, and then the judge is making a decision. For me, it was like, okay, so then who backs these people up, kind of a thing.
Right.
So as a kid, I would watch it all the time. And then I ended up interning at a law firm when I was in 11th grade over the summer. And that was like, okay, I really want to do this.
What kind of law firm do with the...
It's a very weird thing, but that was what piqued my interest into the legal field. And then looking more into it, I was like, oh, okay, I could work at a law firm. I could be a lawyer. I could do this and that. I could do something in the legal field.
That's so cool.
Definitely interning at that law firm really got me to want to continue forward with it and pursue it.
Right. Yeah, just seeing the inner workings, you're like, okay, this is still it for me.
Yeah.
Right? So what are your plans after you pass the bar?
That's a very beautiful question. I've pondered on that thought a lot. I don't know, because now that I work at LegalSoft, I know both sides. I know the legal side because of the experience I had working at the law firms, and then now I have the business side of it. So it would probably at some point in time be maybe even opening my own, but still having something intertwined with the business of providing services to attorneys, but also having my own law firm, something like that.
Right. So you'd have two small businesses?
Probably.
Wow, look at you go.
Probably at some point. We'll see when we get there.
That's fantastic. Well, I mean, I know LegalSoft loves having you. I used to be sitting right next to you. It was fantastic. Yeah, I could ask you anything demands related, and you just knew it. It was incredible.
Yeah, you have to be a master of your craft.
No, absolutely. Now, I did have another question here too. How does your experience as when you were a PI paralegal, How does that play into your role here at LegalSoft?
So most of our the calls that I have with attorneys are literally all consultative. And having that legal experience, you already know what problems that, attorneys are going through, whether it be, operational or whether it be and even something simple of not having enough clients coming through the door type of a thing. So having that legal experience and knowing the day to day in the legal field, you already know how to help them in terms of what to tell them that we offer here at LegalSoft, kind of a thing.
Right, you know the pain
Yeah.
areas. Do you have like a few examples of those pain
Yeah.
areas?
So something, for example, demands related specifically. So if attorneys come up to me, they fully practice personal injury or workers' comp and employment, and they tell me they don't even have 5 demands a month, but they've been in business for a while, then I would ask, okay, why don't you have at least 5 demands a month? Is it because, your case managers aren't moving the cases forward? Or is it because you don't have enough cases coming in through the door? And then through LegalSoft, of course, we have both solutions. It would be either, working with one of our lead gen companies, Law Push, that we're partners with, or it would be, let's say, virtual staffing, where you can get more additional help for your practice to help you move those cases forward and things like that.
Right. Do you find a lot of cases are kind of put on ice, or there's some firms that they think their capacity is a certain amount. They don't realize that they can expand beyond that, so they start declining cases?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things
Wow.
too. And a lot of attorneys don't know that they can even refer out cases and still make something out of it. Even
Hmm.
if, you personally don't want to take them, you still have an opportunity to make money even with referring it out and networking and things like that as well.
How do the referrals work? Do they just get
Yeah.
in touch with a law firm that they know of, and then they just ask, "Hey, I have a case to refer to you"?
Yeah, it could be like that. And then also we are partners with Magic Law Group as well that does that. That will literally they vet the cases, they get the cases, they sign up the cases, and then we refer them out to other attorneys and things
Right.
like that.
So could a client of yours go through LegalSoft and say, "I have all these cases I need to refer,"
Yeah,
and then we'll take care of
definitely.
everything else?
Yeah, because
Interesting.
because we work with hundreds of attorneys all over the place,
Hmm.
all over the different states, we can always introduce them to other attorneys and lawyers and things like that and help them with
Right.
getting someone to refer them
Do
out
we
through a
just
trusted
offer
source.
that? We don't take a. Do we take a percentage on that, or how does the
I'm not
referral
too
system work?
sure about that, but I
Okay.
think it's through Magic Law Group.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole other thing. Aren't they in
Yeah.
Arizona too?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't know the first thing about Magic Law. I know
Yeah.
that it's loose connection with Law Push. We talked about that with Daniel on a episode a couple weeks ago. That was really interesting. Uh, so a lot of firms, we were talking about you only some firms only doing 5 demands a month,
Hmm.
and the problem areas of why they're only having 5 demands. What makes demands so important, like demand writing or even
Yeah.
outsourcing demand writing? Why is that so important to a firm?
Yeah. So first off, getting demands out for any firm, it's your ticket to starting to settle and close cases. If you don't send a demand out, you can't close and settle cases. And then that plays a bigger role in a bigger picture of what's happening with the firm. Like I said, either if they don't have 5, it's either operational, which means their workers aren't doing much, or they have too much to do where they're not being able to move the cases forward. So that's one completely different issue. And then again, like I mentioned, the lead gen, that's a whole separate thing. But also, it's if the cases aren't moving forward and you're not closing cases, then there's no money coming into the firm. So then you can't expand your firm and grow your firm and do different things that you want to do, whether it be getting more staff, whether it be investing more in marketing. So the whole goal for attorneys is let's go ahead and close out these cases so we can go ahead and start, getting money within the firm and income and cash flow and all that stuff. And Hamid speaks about that a lot. I think
Yeah.
I've watched an episode where he talks about law firms saying they don't have enough money and things like that, but they don't
Hmm.
realize where the problems are coming from and
Yeah,
stuff
I
like
mean
that.
it's like
So
having frozen assets, right?
literally, that's what
It's
it is.
funds that aren't liquidated, and I feel like
Yeah.
firms that are leaving any sort of lead, not just like demand writing, but any sort of lead on the table is essentially
Oh
leaving
yeah.
money on the table.
Yeah, even if you're referring it out, that's still cash flow. It's like some type of income that could be coming in within the firm and
Right.
things like that. And the biggest problems that firms face with specifically to demands is backlog. And that comes and stems from those two things that I mentioned
Mm-hmm.
earlier. Like case managers aren't being able to work on cases and focus on important things, so your demands and cases are just sitting there.
Right.
So that's the whole goal of LegalSoft, is to help them for those types of cases where you just have so much that your case managers aren't even being able to follow up with it. We'll take that part of it, that mundane part of it, and do it ourselves. Something I always say to attorneys is, you didn't go to 3-4 years of law school to just sit there and write a letter when you can just have someone else do it.
Yeah.
Literally.
No, that makes total sense. And I mean, there's
Yeah.
certain things that lawyers hate doing, right? I feel like demand writing's one of those.
For sure, yeah. They shouldn't be writing demands. They should be going to court. They should be settling cases. They should be doing trials. And that's another thing too. There was a couple of firms that I've spoken to, a couple of our clients. They want to get into litigation, but they can't get into litigation because they have all these things that they're trying to manage. And something I told them was, definitely, if you want to open up a whole different department, you got to get your cases moving that you already have.
Mhm.
So that's one of the things that I think would help too. So we help with writing the demand so you don't have to, so then you can actually settle and then open up whatever other department you want.
Right, and get that cash flow. And I think that
Yeah.
revenue too, even if it's not much, that revenue can also help with investors if you're
Oh
shopping
yeah.
your firm around to get investment to expand more.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
just because a referrals, I don't even know what, couple $1,000s or something. I don't know how much you make with referrals, but whatever amount it is, I'm assuming it's not as much as the case itself. But whatever that amount is, that cash flow is super
It
important,
adds up. It for sure
right?
it adds up. Like, I've had a couple of friends actually that are attorneys, and they started off by just referring out cases. They didn't even work on the cases themselves because it takes time and money and things like that to actually work on a case. You're paying your case manager, you're paying, if you end up doing litigation, it costs so much. You have to file it, you have to, do X, Y, and Z type of a thing. So they would literally just start off by referring all the cases that they had, and then they would start, actually, once they saw they were getting a decent amount just by referrals, they would be like, okay, now it's time for us to work on it.
Interesting. So this is
Yeah.
after they pass the bar.
That's
They
what they started doing. They just literally started with just referring out cases
Pure intake, just
purely.
refer them out. And then, so on the client side, how does that work? Is it like, this is my buddy Jimmy, he's going to take care of you, and it's just a handoff?
Yeah,
Or,
it's something like that. Or, they would kind of work for the firm, so to speak, where they would say, hey, I'm with whatever law firm, here you go. We're gonna help you out. We're gonna have someone from our team contact you and things like that too.
right.
So they would either work at other firms and just solely refer cases in until they were ready to just go open up their own, or they would just sign them up, do everything, and then pass it on.
Do you recommend that's a good strategy?
I don't know, to be honest. It depends on what your end goal is. In the end of the day, it's a way of making money in the beginning, rather than, because opening up a firm, it costs a lot of money. You have to worry about case management software. You have to worry about getting employees. You have to worry about all these things. So either you handling your own cases at a smaller scale and then exploding it in a short amount of time is one option to go, or you can always just refer them out and just make like passive income, so to speak. The only work you're putting in is getting the cases and then signing
Right.
them up. Yeah.
But in referring them out, especially when you're just starting out, is that it, I feel like you would run the risk of losing a lead, would you not? Because you refer them out to another law firm, and then let's say they're more put together than you are, especially after graduating the bar. I'm sure you're still putting everything together. So, do you run the risk of that client sticking with that firm as opposed to going through you again?
It depends again. Because anything can happen if you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're gonna lose the lead, you're gonna lose the lead, anyways.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of being completely transparent, setting expectations, as anything you do in life, right? You want to be straight up. You want to set the right expectations. You want to be transparent with the person. If you do that, I don't think you should have a problem with
Gotcha.
losing anyone. Yeah.
What's the first step you would recommend for somebody graduating the bar?
First step, I would recommend graduating the bar.
So you graduate the bar.
So
Now what?
I haven't graduated the bar
Not yet,
yet,
but I know you've
but
been thinking about it.
yes, but if I were, when I am to graduate and hopefully pass the bar on my first try, my goal would be to start on a smaller scale and then just scale up from there. So I would basically take my own cases, I would work them up my own way until I got to a certain point where I'm like, okay, now I need to hire someone and get someone. And I 100% would probably go through the option of getting virtual staff. 100% because it is cost effective. So whether you be a big firm trying to get a virtual assistant or a smaller one just literally starting up, without even hiring anyone in-house, I would just start off with virtual for sure.
Just go all virtual.
Yeah.
I know we have a couple clients of ours where they just have one lawyer. He owns his firm, right? So there's a physical office location for his like Google My Business or what have you.
Right.
But his entire staff is all virtual.
Yeah.
Virtual paralegal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the goal is to have at least, I think it's a good of a little bit of both, like yin and yang type of a thing, right? You have one person in house managing like 5-10 virtual assistants. That works. Starting, like for example, like I said, I would start with just the one virtual assistant because I would be managing that person. But my goal would be then to obviously scale and grow, and to the point where I wouldn't be able to do that, I would just hire one person in house with a team of like 5 VAs and
Right.
stuff like that. So that's definitely a good way good way to go, I think.
Yeah, and limiting the connect points, right?
Yeah.
A lot of lawyers, and Hamid was on the podcast a couple weeks ago. We talked about this. A lot of lawyers think they can do everything. Fact of the matter is, you probably can't. Not to scale the way you want to,
Yeah.
right?
If
Yeah.
you want to become big and have different locations or work out of different states, because a lot of attorneys are doing that nowadays, where they're
Hmm.
thinking, okay, why am I limiting myself, let's say, to only California? Why don't I go, take the Texas bar, Arizona bar, and Georgia bar even, and things like that, and they want to have different offices everywhere. Definitely for the scalability standpoint and the growing standpoint, virtual is the way to go. And especially nowadays, everything is becoming, technological with AI and all that stuff. So,
And something I want to dive in about virtual staffing, which
mhm.
I always hear when I tell my friends about virtual staffing, the whole concept. Uh, when we're talking about cost effective, yes, it is cost effective, but we have to remember that the economy in some of these places where we're getting our virtual staffing is so very different
Oh yeah.
that it the the cost to live ratio is much better. Like if I wanted to buy a house, I'd probably buy a house in Philippines. That
Oh
sounds
yeah,
amazing,
100%.
right?
I always tell my virtual assistants I'm gonna come out and see you guys at some point in time and like
Heck
hang
yeah.
out with you guys on the beaches and
See, that
things like
sounds
that.
amazing. But I think I would compare it to like California and Texas,
Yeah.
right? So like the Texas minimum wage is like so much lower than California, but also I can fill my tank at $2 a gallon. So it's
Yeah.
it bounces out. So when I'm talking to my friends about this and we talk about it being cost effective, it's not that we're underpaying anybody. In fact, in a lot of cases we're paying them
A lot. Yeah.
quite a bit, especially for how long it goes. And we have lots of I think we have lots of culture here at LegalSoft
I
where we
agree.
can engage with our virtual assistants. And even we have plans for them to visit the US or even move to the US eventually. Uh, and there's something on Athena's team she used to do, which was fantastic. The top performer of our team, we would, LegalSoft would pay for their dinner. So they'd
Yeah.
go out, I think it was once a week. They'd go out, have a great dinner, just all on LegalSoft's dime.
Yeah, bonus structures, the benefits,
Hmm.
we give it all to them. So it's literally as if they were working here, except again, it's virtual, and because of that whole cost of living ratio that you're talking about, they make a decent amount of money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's
for sure.
fantastic. And from what I hear, I've yet to talk to my VAs about this, but from what I hear is that there's this whole culture in a lot of those cities where we have a home base in. There's this culture of working those graveyard shifts. So
Yeah,
like there's places that are 24-hour internet cafes, bars, restaurants, which
yeah.
I think is pretty neat.
Yeah,
I
like I said, I'm definitely one day gonna go to the beaches and hang out with my own virtual assistants at
Yeah,
some
get a
point in
Mai Tai on
time.
the beach.
Oh
What's the
yeah,
best beach
100%.
drink? What do you go for?
I don't know. I like a blue Hawaiian.
Blue Hawaiian, the blended like
Yeah.
Blue Hawaiian.
Yeah.
Okay,
I like
fair enough.
those.
I myself go for Miami Vice, which is like I think it's pina colada and strawberry.
Love that.
It's amazing. It's the
Love
best
that.
thing ever. I miss Vegas. I need to go back.
Yeah, I still haven't been. Gotta go at some point.
You still haven't been to Vegas? It's 4 hours away. You need to just drive there. Just get in your car today for Thanksgiving.
I don't think that's possible, but at some point in time, I'm
Some
sure
point you
I'll
should.
make my way to Vegas soon.
So we're talking about you being in school, in law school, while also working at LegalSoft. And I know that Hamid and a lot of people here have been really encouraging of you advancing your career
Yeah.
and focusing on the next step. Like the entire culture here is all about being the
Support,
best
yeah.
you can be. We're like what the Marines, be the best you can be. But it's true in a lot of ways. So I wanted to ask you, from your perspective, why is it important for employers like law firm owners and what have you to invest in their employees' careers and education and those aspects?
Yeah, from the legal standpoint, overall, it's hard to find good employees, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of the biggest challenges, whether it be virtual or whether it be, in-house, is finding a really decent person that knows what they're doing that is going to stick with you for a long time.
Right.
So investing in the people that you already have, one, if, obviously if they're really good, you want to make sure that you invest in them, is that it keeps it in-house to start off before you even go outsourcing. So it helps you
Mm-hmm.
in putting a great foundation already within your firm so then you can scale and grow on that by outsourcing different things. So investing in someone you already have, you already know that they know how you like to do certain things because every firm's different. Every firm likes to do things a different way. Every attorney's different. Every attorney likes things a different way. And they want to be obviously different than other firms.
Mm-hmm.
So if you already have a great employee, you invest in that employee, and then let's say one day they become an attorney, then that's one other good pawn that you have in your team. That's another good person you have in your team that you don't have to spend so much time teaching and training and all that because they're already used to you. They already know what you like to do.
Right. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. What are some? I kind of want to dive into demand writing a little bit more.
Yeah, sure.
So, like, you've been at LegalSoft what, a year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a year already.
Year and some change.
Yeah.
I just hit my 3-month mark.
Oh, congratulations.
Yesterday, 3 months.
Congratulations.
Nathan said I was a senior at that point, so
Yep.
that's great. Seeing how much LegalSoft has grown and how much your team has grown. I mean, when you started it, how many VAs did you have? How big was your team?
I only had one VA at the time.
Who was it?
It was Beatrice.
We'll get a shout out. Shout out to Beatrice.
Shout out to Beatrice. You
Okay.
started with us.
That's amazing. She's still
Yeah.
part of your team?
No, she actually just recently she had to take a leave recently.
Oh.
She had a baby and
Oh, it was a
you
whole
know,
thing.
yeah.
Okay. Well, still, I'm glad that. Well, that's exciting news for her, though.
Yeah, of
That's
course.
amazing.
Of course.
Well, that's another thing too, is that we offer. I know we have. This is a conversation for someone in the virtual staffing team, but I know we've got
Yeah.
so many benefits. Like we've got maternity leave and all these things that just aren't for every company in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is really neat. So you start out with one VA,
Mm-hmm.
and how many demands were we writing in general?
We started out with one VA. We had maybe like, let's say 20 plus a month.
A month.
A month, yeah. And then we started growing ourselves, where we got more clients in the door. Then we had to get more demands. Then we had to grow our team. We had like 10, 15 VAs at some point, and then it just kept going, kind of
Wow.
a thing. Yeah.
So when you're streamlining, how did you foster that growth?
How
When did
I
you know you're like, whoa, okay, I need to get somebody else here?
Yeah. So we had to actually do a whole formula and calculation of figuring out how long it takes to write a demand, how many demands each VA could do in a day, and so on and so forth. So we went from literally having them do 60 demands a day to doing over 100. I'm sorry, 60 demands a month to doing over 100 in the month. So
Wow.
yeah. So with training, with working together as a team, helping each other out, we kind of figured that out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and once we hit a certain number, we're like, okay, now it's time to add one more, or we forecasted we're about to have this many more demands come in, and then we need to make sure that we have enough hands and feet, to
Yeah,
take care of it.
I love that. Now, what kind of promos are you running right now? Do you have a special promo
Yeah.
we can do for the podcast?
Ooh.
I don't know if you've thought about that. We didn't even talk about this before, but
No,
I'm
I
just
didn't
thinking
think
in my
about
head, I'm like, mention the Legal Soft podcast.
Well, there's a
You
few.
get 100 free
few
demands.
Oh, 100 I think is too much.
No, I'm joking.
I wish someone gave me
We're not-
100 free demands.
No, not 100 demands, guys.
No,
but
no.
do we have something like that for our listeners?
Yeah, I could tell you what promos we have now, and then we can definitely
Yeah, what's
do
going on with
something.
those?
So right now we have a Black Friday deal for the holidays, where we're offering 10 demands for $500, which is discounted 50%. So $500 is the discounted
It's
amount.
normally
Yeah,
$100 a demand.
yeah.
Which, I mean, that's for the time it takes to write demands. That's still a great deal. $100 a demand.
Yeah, so usually that's what we do. We do $100 a demand. So for 10 of them, it'd be like 1,000. So now we're giving it 50% off, which is 500. And then we also have promos we throw here and there sometimes where we give complimentary demands,
Okay.
three of them complimentary.
How would they know
Um,
about these promos when they go live?
Legal Soft,
Legal Soft, like our
Legal
newsletter,
Soft.
our social
Yes,
media.
Yes.
Yeah, we make sure you guys know about that.
100%. We like to let our attorneys know that, hey, we are doing this, especially for you guys. Definitely test it out, And
Yeah.
at any point in time, if anyone ever wants to talk about demands, more than welcome to hop on a call.
Yeah.
sure.
How do they hop on a call with you?
They
Where do
gotta
they
book a
find you?
demo.
Book a demo. You'll give me
Yes.
that demo link, right?
Yes, I will. For
Okay,
sure.
perfect. If you guys look in the bio or in the description, there's going to be a demo link for you guys to click and check it out if you want to hear more from Liz about her demands and her experience going to law school. I'm really excited for what you're going to be doing. That seems really cool.
I hope it works out.
Have you
Just gotta
figured
be
out your
patient.
lawyer outfit yet? What you're going to look like?
I think I would probably look like a corporate lawyer.
Corporate lawyer?
Yeah.
Like, give me an example. Someone
Gotta do
in
the
like
suits
pop culture.
and the whole everything.
Someone in
like-
pop culture. who
Like
you're gonna
the
look like.
girl version of Harvey Specter.
Girl version of Harvey Specter. Okay.
Yes.
I could dig it.
That's the
All right.
goal.
That's the goal, right? Well, what's interesting about Harvey Specter is his entire suit should not work. It's like all outdated styles, peak lapels, the
We'll bring a
old-fashioned
little
collar.
modern to it.
But
we'll bring
he makes it work, and I think you could too. Thank you so much for being on the podcast,
Of course,
Liz.
thank you. I
Really
appreciate it.
appreciate you. You guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Legal Soft podcast. If you enjoyed what you were listening to, want to hear more from Liz, please let us know in the comments. Give us a like, subscribe. We're getting our wheels turning on this podcast, and we can't do it without your support. So please don't forget to let us know what you think. That way we can give you more of what you'd like to see. If you're also stuck in traffic and you don't like holding up your phone while you're driving and don't want to give one of our personal injury lawyers a call, if you don't want to give one of them a call, we're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you find your favorite podcast. Go give us a listen. Follow us. We have new episodes every Tuesday and Friday, and we're just happy to be here. Thank you so much, Liz. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. It was a pleasure.